Whoa, I'm the Frenchman. I'm the DC Frenchman. I'm the Frenchman in Washington, DC. Okay, guys, story time. Story time, story time, story time. We're going to give you all a little of what do we want to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about life after death, spirits, and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to talk tonight, though, about the time that I died. Yes, died, everyone. I passed away. Let me tell you what happened to me this time that I passed away and who I spoke to when I passed away. So I'm going to let everybody out here in the world know that, yes, it's an afterlife. And if you don't do what's right, you're going to be in trouble, buddy. You're going to be hearing that in the background of your mind. You're going to be hearing all the good stuff. But let me tell you what happened to me so I could hear all the good stuff. Okay, one day when I was in North Carolina, I had a 750 Seiko motorcycle, riding my motorcycle with some shorts on, with no underwear on, just riding, chilling with my shorts on, catching the breeze up my legs like us motorcyclists do. So I'm riding my bike, headed to my brother's house, everybody. But in my eyesight, I see something coming up to me really, really close. And what do I see? A Japanese hornet, everyone. A Japanese hornet went up my pants leg, up the pants leg, like these pants legs here. Went up the pants leg. I felt them. I'm riding a motorcycle, I'm moving. Stung me in my testicles. Yes, stung me right in my testicle. A Japanese hornet the size of my thumb. Stung me in my testicles in my 20s and stuff. I was doing everything. I was a bad boy. I thought I was a bad boy at least until I came with the DC Frenchman show and changed my life around. But this freaking Japanese hornet, you all, went up through my pants leg, stung me in my testicles. I'm riding, trying to make it to I feel him. I look down, I see him leaving out of my pants. He leaves out and flies off. It's just itching and stinging down on my balls, y'all. Stinging on my balls while I'm riding. I'm like, oh man, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, I get to my brother's house, and I'm like, bruh, I just got stung by something. A big ass bee went up my shorts and stung me in the nuts. And the next thing I know, while I'm talking to him, I go blind. I freaking go blind, everybody. I go blind.
Please like and subscribe.
Just blind. And I would like to give a shout out to my background music, horror sounds. Great horror sounds that you get off of YouTube. No copyright. Thanks for the horror sounds. But as he go up my leg and I get blind, I gets off the bike and I'm blind. I'm like, bruh, I can't see anymore. I can't see how to even get in your house. I can't even put the kickstand down on the bike. So my eyesight went and I was blind from the bee sting. I was like, oh my God, this can't be, man. This can't be, everyone. And my brother like, is you okay? I'm like, yeah, but I'm blind, man. Help me get into the house and stuff. So he walking me into the house and my heart started beating like 1,000,000 miles per hour. My heart started beating. I'm and I'm wheezing and my throat is climbing. My throat is fucking closing up on me, folks. And I'm blind and my throat is closing up. And my lungs just like that. My lungs is just going. And I'm like, what the hell? While I'm blind, and my brother tell him, call the ambulance, bro. Please call the ambulance. Something is really wrong with me this time. All the while, my nuts is aching and just blowing up and blowing up. This is a scary story, folks. But I'm like, my brother, he calls the ambulance and they call the folks. I'm blind, my heart beating. My heart stopped beating, folks, and my lungs collapse. Yes, my lungs collapse, and my lungs collapse, and my heart stopped beating. So I'm on the ground, dead, and the ambulance comes. From what I know, I can see it. I'm dead, though. They stripped me butt naked and put these compression things, the things on my chest, and just boom, 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 boom. They're trying to bring me back alive. They're trying to bring me back alive, and the whole time I'm listening, but I can't move or anything. I'm out of it. I'm gone, but I'm listening and looking from somewhere, but I don't know where I'm from looking at this. I see my family around me. I'm ass naked. My sister's looking at me. My family looking at me. Neighbors looking at me naked and stuff. Like, where did he get stoned? And they put, yeah, right here, da da da. I told my brother, I died, everybody. I freaking died. Yep, I died. They threw me in the ambulance and was shaking their head, and everybody was crying and stuff like this. My sisters, my brothers, my cousins, everybody crying. And I'm like, they take me for 30 minutes, a 30 minutes ride to the next town, from Garner, North Carolina to Raleigh, North Carolina, to Wake Medical Hospital, where I passed away in the hospital and I was dead, everybody. Under the sheet, looking at myself while they still compression me, boom, boom, just messing my chest up down there, and I'm looking over top of myself, floating, looking at all the nurses and doctors, looking at the stuff. They just boom, 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 boom to my chest, boom, 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 just boom, boom. And they was like, he's gone, it's nothing. It's nothing we could do about it. And I'm like, nothing they could do about it, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear them anymore. I leave out and I go into this white light, like this light is in my face now. My strobe lights are in my face, and I can't see anything. I just go into the white light, and inside of the white light, I see nothing. Just white light, and I hear my ears drawn into the white light, and I follow it, and I go into this big white light tunnel section of light. It's not smoke, but light smoke, bringing me and drawing me into it, and I go up to it, and I walk up to it, and the light is just like this light here. It's in my face just like this, all of the light, and it's looking at me, and I'm like, and this voice asked me, you know, you need to give me 3 reasons, sir. He said my name. It was God. He said my name. Give me 3 reasons why I should let you back onto my planet Earth after what you do and the things that you have done in your life. And when he said that, it flashed me back to all the things that I had done in my life bad, in one split second, of everything that I had done wrong. And I knew that I was in the wrong. I knew it was over with for me. I knew I was going not in that white light through that way, but some other way that I was going to hit. And it was telling me this through my brain. So he was like, give me 3 reasons why I should let you back onto my planet Earth, into your body. And I was like, I thought very, very fast about this too, guys. I thought in a split second, and I had to give God 3 reasons why I should stay back on the earth. I don't want to tell y'all all my personal reasons why, but I could tell you 2 of the reasons. No, I'm going to give you all 3 of the reasons what I told God why he should let me back on the earth, and why I should be back into my body and continue with my life, and I would do better. I told God, for one reason, I had just met my mother. I was 18, 19 years old, and I was a kidnapped child. My father kidnapped me and took me from my mother. I didn't find out until I was 18 years old. But he was like, I told him, I just met my mother, And I didn't know who she was, and I love my mother. I don't want to leave her right now. That was one. I had to give him another reason in between the pause. And I was like, I just met all my brothers, which is I had 5 brothers and 6 sisters. I just met all my brothers and sisters, and I want to have fun and finish partying and being with them, which was half of the reason why I was up there, trying to give him a reason. And the third reason was that I had just had my baby girl, and she was just an infant. And I told him I want to spend time and be with my baby girl and watch her grow up, which now she's in her 35 years old, which he gave me 35 years, still here to watch and keep care after my daughter. But I had passed away, and I gave him the reasons. And as soon as I gave him them reasons in that split second, he didn't tell me yes, no, anything like that. I just woke back up in the hospital, and there was a lady beside me pulling all these tubes out, and I moved from under the cover, and she pulling her little tubes out, and I moved, and she was like, "Oh my God, baby." She said, "You've been dead all the way from Garner, North Carolina to Raleigh, North Carolina to the hospital. You've been dead, sir. You were dead. We had pronounced you dead." And I told her, no, I wasn't dead. She was the first person I told, I had to give God 3 reasons why I should get back into this body. And she was like, "That is amazing. You need to tell everybody that story." So I'm ready now to tell y'all all my stories in life, since I'm getting this YouTube channel together, besides my material on what's going on out here in this world. With me, I'm telling you about me and what's going on out here, and showing you in detail on what's going on in the world. Live coverage, on time, unadulterated coverage. And you have to excuse my French if I cuss a little bit, because my name is the DC Frenchman, aka Frenchman, aka Frenchy Montana, aka Frenchy. But we're gonna skip the story a little bit and go into spirits and stuff like this, because this story is still on the spiritual world and the wavelength of the spiritual world. And why I tell you, it's more than meets the eye than just the material stuff: YouTube, cars, jewelry, girls, booty, and anything that you appreciate out here that you think and you find value in. That don't really mean S-H-I-T. Okay? This here is going to be about my grandfather. My grandfather passed away. And when my grandfather passed away, guys, I was right there when my grandfather passed away. My grandfather passed away inside of his bed, laying in the bed, just laying in the bed when he's looking up at the ceiling. And my grandmother was in the next room beside of me. And she told me, "Go in there with your granddaddy. Your granddaddy's about to die, and see him and talk to him and try and talk to him before he dies and tell him things and stuff." And I said, "All right, I'm out of here. I'm ready to go in here." And I got to my granddaddy's bed, stood beside my granddad's bed like this, put my elbows up on his bed and stood beside his waist like this and looked up into his face like this in my granddaddy's eyes when he was passing. And I was talking to him, telling him thank you for fishing with me and all this great stuff that he did with me in his lifetime. His name was Joe Lewis. Yes, his name was Joe Lewis. And thanks to my YouTube channel here for my background sounds, which I don't own the rights to the music. And I'm not getting a copyright because there's no copyright for the music. But I'm laying beside my grandfather and telling my grandfather all the things I love him about him and stuff. And he had cancer. He died from cancer, everyone. Smoking like crazy. But he stopped smoking just before he died. Grandmother wouldn't buy him any more cigarettes. He couldn't get out of bed, so nobody gave him any more cigarettes or anything like that. So, as I'm laying beside the bed on my grandfather's last breath, he was like, while he was saying that, I seen this deep, deep, dark, materialized smoke come out of my grandfather's body. It was thick like vapor, like the vape pens that we have now going on. It was those vape pen smoke that we have in 2023, the vape that you see come out of it, but it was like somebody was holding for the longest and let it come out of their throat really, really thick. This came out of my granddaddy's throat. And it just evaporates out of my granddaddy's throat and it goes into the ceiling. It pauses in the ceiling and just stays in the ceiling for a good 3 to 4 minutes and lingers up there. My granddaddy don't move anymore, but the smoke is moving. Now I'm looking at the smoke, wondering why he got smoke coming out my granddaddy's mouth like that. And the smoke in that little room that we was in just stood in the ceiling, and I looked at it. And instead of the smoke just going through the whole ceiling and dispersing out like smoke does, if you have that much smoke come out, it went through the ceiling. It took its time in the same form, and it just goes through the ceiling and evaporates and goes right through the house or the ceiling. And I seen my granddaddy's spirit go right out of the ceiling of the house. And then I looked at him, and I looked back up at the ceiling, and the ceiling had a stain up in there, a round stain where the spirit had left out from my grandfather. And I looked at my grandfather and I touched him. And he was warm to the touch, but he was cold and hard to the touch. And I asked him, "Granddaddy, wake up, wake up." He didn't move, and I called my grandmother and I told him, "My granddad ain't moving no more in here." And she's like, "He gripped bait, he's probably dead." My granddaddy died, y'all, flatlined. And that was the end of my grandfather, and I watched the spirit come out of his mouth and right in front of my face. My grandmother, she called the coroners and the ambulance. Everybody started crowding the houses, and they came in there, and I looked, and they took my grandfather out of the room, and they put him in plastic bags and zipped him up and toted him out, put him inside of this box truck, and drove my grandfather off. And I seen my grandfather's spirit come out. But wait a minute, guys. As I told you, my grandmother, they knew roots and knew root doctors and root people. My grandmother was very spiritual. She told me, "Don't worry about it. You're going to see him again," because I was crying. "Don't worry about it." My nephews, my cousins was with me, but they wasn't in there when I seen my granddaddy die. But they were there today when my grandmother told me, "Y'all gather around and we're going to wait till 12 o'clock at night. Y'all will wait till 12 o'clock and he's going to come down through the garden over there. And he's going to walk down and you're going to see your granddad. You'll be able to see him again." We all gathered around the window and held the window open over there where he used to be, looked up by the chicken pen in our backyard back there. About 12 o'clock, I'm getting a little spooky, but I'm not spooky because I love my granddad. He came back to visit us like my grandmother said he would. And soon we seen something appear and start materializing in the backyard back there by the pen. And he came walking down. Oh my God. My grandfather came walking down in the same suit that we buried him with a white Quaker collar on. All I can see is the suit, his face, and the collar of the shirt, and the sleeves, the white sleeves to the shirt. He walked down through the backyard, and my grandfather looked over at all of us and looked at us, came and looked back, kept straight, walked straight down beside the other window. I ran over and jumped to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. And I opened up the other window and he was walking. I seen his shoulder and he was walking down between the side of the house. And then I ran to the other room, to my grandmother's room where they used to be at, and opened her window up, and I told that is him. And she was like, "I told you he's gonna come back." She looked out the window with me and we watched him walk down out of the yard into our garden section, and he went down through the garden down there. And once he walked down through the garden, he disappeared. Yep, my grandfather disappeared right down through the garden. He came through and said hi to us 3 days after his death. I'll never forget it. Never forget it, guys. And that's the God's honest truth from the DC Frenchman Show. The spiritual DC Frenchman. And I have a lot of other stories to tell y'all. $ DC Frenchman is my cash app. For me to keep on going and show y'all and tell y'all stuff to even be, motivated to want to do something. To tell you the world things that's going on in other parts of the world. But just like they say in Haiti, yes, it's voodoo doctors, witch doctors, spirits, everything. The only reason we don't have it in the city, you don't see a lot of ghosts and spirits and monsters and shit like that. We got too much electricity going on around here. Ghosts don't like electricity. They don't like power. They don't like lights, and they don't like electricity vibrating around them and all through the cities and stuff. They don't deal with that. That's an electrical current. They are made out of electricity themselves. So that's why you don't see it all in the city. But go in these rural areas where it's not electricity going around, a lot of lights, electricity, currents, and all that sort of stuff like that. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But thank you for tuning into the DC Frenchman Show, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Tune into the evening shows. They'll be very scary and spooky for you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Have a nice evening. Tune in, like, share, and subscribe, guys. You know it's me. Fresh from the DC Frenchman Show.